this evening, Wednesday, the 1st of October. How September has flown by completely. How today has flown by quite quickly. As well, tonight we do have a special guest in tow tonight, and I tell you who that is. It's a very, very special guest. Honestly, this light, need to sort it out. Anyway, so I hope we're all doing extremely well tonight. Let me know how you're doing in chat. Let me know what you've been up to today. Dino Hughes, Rob Taff, even all. I've got a special guest tonight who is helping me do the stream. Come here. It's my special guest tonight. His name is Buddy, and he's a little rascal. So Buddy tonight is going to be helping me tonight to do the show, because otherwise he moans and barks all night. So he's gonna help me tonight to do the show. Right, there you go. Sit there. Anyway, guys, Tom, one of my good friends. Hello, and I hope you're all doing extremely well this evening. So this is the late show. This is where we do things slightly differently. This is where it's open. I do have a topic. I'll always drive a topic. I'll be legend. As always, Tom is a legend. I do know Tom well. He's an exceptional human being. Amazing guy as well. The dog is currently chewing on some stuff. So if you're new here, as I always say on here, I'm not a dictator of the chat. I may be in other parts of my life, but I'm not on here. It's really important to me that people have their opinions. The only thing that I do stress is that we are respectful to the people in the chat. Everybody has their opinions, and it's really important for me. What good slave master? Exactly. Grace says, I'm so tired of talking about the manager situation. It's been 6 games. Grace, I am with you. Grace, I am absolutely on your side. I completely agree with you. Completely. I wish we could talk about something else. Maybe, Tom, at some point we can talk about our song, my friend. But yeah. So so Grace, look, I am with Grace, but I think it's really important while other people, I just need to put the fan on because it's really warm in here. So where are we? Here we go. I should have put the fan on before I started tonight, but you know what it's like. Rob Taff, fellow Welshman legend, stuffed from a carvery earlier, which the wife paid for. Jesus, I mean, wow, that's a touch, isn't it? Yeah, and a carvery on a Wednesday night as well, mate. That is legendary. So as I say, tonight is a late show. Get in your comments about different stuff. Now, to go back to Grace, she's absolutely right, absolutely tired. I wonder if we're going to get an Isaac special question tonight, Dino. That was hilarious. Absolutely loved that. That was just brilliant. I mean, that was just amazing. And Lee, we do miss Lee. I wish Lee would come back as well. Lee and his aggressive comments. My wife paid for our holiday because I paid for our trip to Rome in March. Amazing. Look, my wife more than pays her way, so just in case that you'll never see any of this, just in case she does, my wife is more than pays for half. Oh yes, Scott. Yeah, mate. I hope you have a fantastic time whilst you're in Rome. Is it first? I hope you have an amazing time, my friend. You won't get to play football club there. Grace, it's good when a husband and wife work together. Grace, no, it is. And I absolutely, we do work together, which is good. And I think, when people, Spain, Grace, I think that is how the world should be. Yeah, Agreed. So to go back to Grace, really, am I sick and tired of talking about this situation? Yes. I'm going to lead with it because of the things I've seen today. I want to go from a make a trip to, might take a trip to Madrid as well, Scott. Fantastic, fantastic. So I want to kind of, I don't want to talk about it, but I want to play fairness here. Right, there's so many people who are talking about Amorin out now. What I've seen on Sky Sports, is the comparison to managers after 34 games, and Amorin is absolutely at the bottom. And now, Scott, and it's difficult for me to basically describe my position. Is part of me, I'd probably say 85% of me is Amorin in. Now, I want to kind of restructure that and just say I am managering. I absolutely do not believe that sacking a manager is the way to go. And this is what I posed the question tonight. Get in there with your other opinions on the squad. So Malacia is back. I don't know. I'm Amorin in for the full season. I've got ice cream for the pain. Look, Grace, I am with you. Right, I'm with Scott. My only caveat to be Amorin in, and part of me will be Amorin out. I'm Amorin in as well. I'm not for it. Exactly, OB, and that is exactly it. So I am manager in. Right now, where I would be Amorin out is if I thought Amorin was making decisions that were best for himself and being very narcissistic and being very kind of his ego. I don't think he is. But in that situation, I would have to be Amorin out. Now, I am still Amorin in. And this is what I'm posing. The question tonight is, what can Amorin do to rectify the situation? Tom says he will never be successful only playing one way. He has to learn to be flexible and play different formations and systems. Tom, I know you're a very, very intelligent man, and I think you're spot on, my friend. And I think, look, going back to what he said yesterday. So he spoke to Owen Hargreaves about the club, right? And again, I think there'll be so many different things missed, and we can talk about that again. As to what I think now, I think that Amorin can turn this around. So Amorin basically said that he will adapt the system. Now, I'm with Tom, I'm with Scott, I'm with OB on this one. The manager, I went Amorin in, and with Tom and Scott, I agree that he needs to change something. Now, the reason why I want him to change the system, I don't believe there's anything. If you look at the system in whole, there's nothing wrong with the system and the tactics that he implements to play the system. The problem is he doesn't have the players and he doesn't have the team. Now, when you don't have your team, and even when you're in possession and out of possession, I do believe that Amorin has some stuff there. But with these players can't play the system. So I'm of the opinion that until you get your players to play the system, and I'm not talking about pandering to these players, because I don't think that's right either, because these players won't play for you and they will sack you as soon as they can. And again, Tom, I get that. I absolutely get that as well. So what I want to see is I want to see him adapt his formation and adapt the tactics to his players until he gets the opportunity to get some more players, and then he can play his own system. But for now, I want him to survive. That's what I want him to do, is survive, so he gets a lifeline to actually show what he can do. Grace says, all I hear is Ineos are backing Amorin, but Xavi and Glasner want the job. Jim appreciates Southgate. These stories really don't have. Grace, and to come back to, I'll go with Tom. Tom says, I'm a traditionalist. I want to see United play with wingers again. Look, Tom, I hark for those days of being brave, and I'd love us to play a system where we're brave, where we want to attack. Do I think that could still work? Yes, I do. But again, I don't think we sort of have those plays. But Tom, I am with you. I love that flying wingers, that all-out attack. But I would love to see that. But right now, we don't even have those players. But I agree with you. Grace, again, from what I've seen today, I've not seen a single. So all I'm seeing today, and what I get from some of the larger outlets, and I'm not calling anybody out. The problem with channels that are really, really big, I believe on here, I'm quite consistent, I'm quite fair, and I think that a lot of us on here are. The problem with the channels that are bigger is that it's really, really confusing because they have so many different people, so many different views, and they try to placate and they try to keep everybody happy. And the problem is that these bigger channels with a lot of pull, the messaging is so mixed. Like some people will say Amorin in, some people will say out. Some people, like this morning, some videos that I saw was twist and stick. Instead of encouraging, I believe, and champion the manager over players that we know, these players, we absolutely know what these players are. Instead of trying to encourage the manager and champion the manager and say, look, all you've got to do is just tailor your system to these players, show what you are as a coach, show us what you are as the intelligent coach that you are, and show us what you can do. Look, we were all given time, and this is the thing that frustrates me the most, is that for me, it's not the results necessarily, it's the refusal to adapt to these players that we know are not good enough. And if he did that, I think he'd get so much time. So, and Grace, I agree with you completely. There is this so much noise, and it's driven by the media. It's driven by YouTube channels who are trying to get ahead of the news, and are trying to, instead of giving you opinions that are, look, on here I will try to give you Amorin out opinion. I'll try to give Amorin outers a chance, and also, but tonight is about Amorin in, and how can Amorin change tonight, and that is not what we get. And Grace, I agree with you. I think the problem is that there's so much talk. Now, hopefully from tomorrow we can start talking about the next game, but sadly it's, and I feel it's up to me on here and us to talk about both sides. But tonight is about Amorin in, and people absolutely hate that. Dino says, what, if he adapted and conceded, then he needs to change. I will give him time. He needs to get us winning again and look at playing his way. Dino, mate, I agree with you. I do. I think for now, to survive, it's like anybody, right? If you know you're going to do a thing in a certain way, and all you need is time, you would do what you look. We know Ineos. We know the players that he doesn't have. We know this, and I almost feel like he's trying to subliminally show Ineos how bad these players are. We know, as a fan base, we know, but by doing that and trusting these players, they are making him look bad. I just want us to win. I agree. Shesko brace against Sunderland. Look, what I don't want to see, and I'll be consistent on this, which I sort of have been. I don't want to see Sunderland and we beat them and now we're back. Like Amorin is okay again. What I want to see is those who are Amorin out, stay Amorin out. Stay true to yourself. Those people who are Amorin in and who are looking for something, who want this manager to survive. The interesting thing will be is that if we can take this a win, Liverpool, I think Liverpool are there. for the taking. If we can win these next 2 games, that's all we keep saying. That's all we keep saying. If we can just, I truly believe, if we can get 2 wins, and if he can survive, if Ineos just can absolutely just give him that time, I generally think if he gets to the end of the season, I don't care if Amorin finishes 15th again. It's not about that for me. It's about Amorin has to put the club before himself, and if he can do that and tweak the system, everybody will know a tweak to the system is because these players can't play an advanced way. Mr. Pad says, the United Devil, do you think that Amorin can get the most out of Cunha and Mbeumo by playing them in 10s positions rather than on the wings or up front in a 2-striker formation? I think that is a very, very good question. Thank you, Mr. Pads. Look, Amorin's interview, of all the players, so there were 2 things, and I will come back to it. The interview that he did, what I love about Amorin and what people miss. So what I said today is people love, or people look at those who are extremes. You look at channels, I don't need to name them, and I'm just talking about the big ones. I'm talking about some of the smaller ones as well. Scream and shout and moan and whinge, and people like that. People like extremities. They want somebody who's going to scream and shout, and that is what people like, right? Amorin is so good. The things that he said were basically his experienced people let him down. A direct dig at Bruno, Luke Shaw, but he does it in such a passive, he does it in such an assertive way, but it's passive, so it's passive assertive, which is probably the best way that you can be. And he says it, and he goes, he takes these little smart digs that you have to go back and listen to the things that he said again. And he's absolutely said that Cunha is crazy. He said he needs more people like that. And that is what I love about him. He absolutely knows, Mr. Pads, that Cunha is playing in the right position. He absolutely knows those 2 players are... Is he getting the best out of those 2 players? Probably not, but that is because of the pivot. And the moment he can adapt the pivot is when you'll see the best out of those players. But Amorin absolutely knows, of all the people, of all the players he sort of not threw under the bus, but he sort of alluded to, those 2 players he absolutely bigged up completely. So he absolutely knows. So Bluey Game says, Go Bridge has lost the plot, have no regrets not watching his watch along on Saturday. Look, I'll be doing one on here. Watch alongs for me, right, are about, look, there'll be some extreme stuff in terms of goals and that kind of stuff, but I think we can do things a better way. And it's probably not as entertaining for people, but I absolutely do not believe in look, I don't believe in this over the top reactionary stuff, because we all know that it's bollocks. I absolutely don't. You can still be passionate and not jump up and down like a fucking lunatic. Roll Sports Studios, yo, hello my friend. Is that a Nintendo on your shelf? What a throwback. How many good memories with that? Yes, it is up there. It is up there as well. I'm trying to get it. I have done a GoldenEye like playthrough only on the first level. Depending on how well that does, I will do more. I've got planned for more games as well. I want the series to do well, so I will play some more games. But of course, it completely depends. The more people that watch it, the more that I will do. But I'm going to add that to the channel as well. Tulip Plays, hello. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hit the like button and sub to the channel. Exactly, guys. I genuinely cannot thank you enough. Honestly, this double tapping, just giving us a like is absolutely, it means so much to the channel. It makes the channel bigger. I think we're pushing 15,000k subs as well, which is absolutely mental. On the journey now to 16, 17, 18. If we can get to that 20,000, that will be amazing. That then puts us up into that kind of, that not a massive channel, but it puts us up there a bit. So, get into that 16,000, 15,000 mark would be absolutely amazing. Bluey Games, I'm a Gen Z, but I would have bought the N64 remaster, which got cancelled. It was supposed to have 20 games built in and really tight. I mean, that would have been awesome. I mean, look, Gen Zs are welcome, absolutely. You guys are welcome here as well. I mean, I'm a, what am I? I'm a millennial. So, I'd probably say in terms of consoles, I think we probably had the best ones. And again, this is that show tonight. If you want to talk about consoles, if you want to talk about anything, films, tell me your films, any of your hobbies, passions. This is the late show, so we can go off on a tangent as well. Didn't Amorin press in 4-4-2 in pre-season? It worked well, and I've never seen it since. And again, I think Amorin. I think what Amorin needs to do absolutely needs to be not survival football, but he needs to show Carragher. He doesn't need to, but he needs to shut these pundits down. I mean, nobody necessarily respects them, but they have so much traction, so much optical vision on them, that people then start to believe that it is literally just the coach, and these players have no influence at all either. Grace, I'm scared for Liverpool. It could go so wrong. Look, Grace, look, right, it could do. But that's why you've got to be brave. That's what this club is all about. This club is all about being brave. As fans, look, to back Amorin, right, is brave. Right? Those of you, including myself, who back him, who are backing him against all of those people, and I mean there's a large majority of those people in our fan base now who are, you were going against the grain. To be brave to back him until the end, that shows it shows you what you've learned, right? It shows you are part of this club. Now, I'm not suggesting those who are Amorin are any less fans, but sometimes you've got to be brave, and sometimes you've got to tread the beaten path, because it might be harder, but in the long run, it is the best way to go. So I absolutely do believe, Grace, you are right to be scared, but it just means that you're brave at the same time. Few man, I'm tired from watching Champions League. Blue Game says those people will go on finally Amorin because he wore the limited 2025-26 United gold jackets. Exactly. Not at home at the moment. You're never home. How have Barcelona won against a weakened? How have Barcelona not won against a weakened PSG? Look, Barcelona. Look, I mean, are they ultimately the same team that they were? I'd argue probably not. And we have a new member. So Dino Hughes, welcome to the members club, my friend. Absolutely massive thank you so much for being a member. As I say, I do have things planned for the memberships, guys. The fact that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, look, guys. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable. I can only thank you so much, because you guys are the founders. You guys, actually make this channel what it is. So I can only thank you. So massive thank you and big up to Dino there. Bluey Games, hasn't the US government been shut down or something? I don't know. Trump got our asses working. Yep. Evening JB. Big up Rob, legend of the chat. Not Brett, mate. Like Brent Goldbridge. I love it. JB Bridge. I blinking hope not. I really hope not. It's let's go through the chat. I've been relegated. Dino says, I will be joining you for the game, pal. We need to beat Sunderland. Just a little bit of momentum going into the Liverpool game can help us. It's not saying that we will beat them. Dino, mate, I agree with you. Look, something something, if we can just get something, then look, we almost need, and this is what I don't get in this fan base. Now, let me know. I want to know from you guys tonight. How can from where Amorin is tonight, pretty much 90% that he's going to go, right? I want to know how is he going to turn this around. You guys, let me know how you think he can turn it around. I'll give you my opinion on it as well, but I want you to tell me what you think and how we can turn this around. If you're a millennial, that's fairly young. Not to, I'm 42 years old, mate. I honestly, right, what is unbelievable is that it only seems like yesterday I was like 20, 22. Yesterday, if you know, I was 35, and now I'm 42, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely crazy how time flies by. Yeah, it is. You know, and please don't let the grey hair fool you. I am not. Not. You know, 50. I'm 42. So you know, time flies. Chris O'Connor says, yeah, we'll finish above Liverpool. Want a bet? Mate, Chris, I wish I had your confidence. Mate, if you want to give me a step-by-step guide of how that happens, mate, I look, I don't need to bet you. I will, mate. If that happens, I will praise you to the heavens. I mean, look, I would love that to happen. But let's see. Obi says, isn't it funny? It's funny, isn't it? Players will sell, go on to do well. If that's not a manager issue, it's a leadership mentality and intelligence issue. I think that's a really good point, Obi. I think it's a really, really good point. Why do so? You know, look, when these players leave this club and go on to do well, I think you can look at this a couple of ways, and I think, Obi, I think that's a really, really good point. I think that's absolutely an excellent point, right? Is it the fact that the managers are so bad? Now, let's look at it from a logical perspective, right? Players that leave here, and you can argue Højlund scored twice tonight, you know, we can look at Anthony, right? Is it the manager, which the manager always seems to get blamed? Is it the manager? Is it Ten Hag's fault? Is it Ollie's fault? Ranić's fault? Amorin's fault? Or is it because when these players leave the toxicity created by the Glazers and Ineos, and they're out of that they see a different club and they're able to do that? You can look at it either way, and that's an interesting, I think, way to look at it. I think I truly believe that it is the club. It's you know, not only and the interesting thing, not only do we ruin players, but coaches as well. So what is the common theme here? The common theme is the club. And as Wilcox said, and it's absolutely been totally missed, and nobody talks about this because it doesn't suit the rhetoric of the media, is that Wilcox said about a week ago now, when he came into the club, there was no link between the ownership, the manager, the playing staff. It's been like that for 20 years, and people wonder why managers fail. You know, every manager has the same critique. Every manager has the same reasoning behind this, and it's still happening again. It's just interesting. Blue Game says he needs to employ Simeone, ball score, overwhelm opponents, and park the bus until we safely can't get relegated. Look, I don't disagree with, and this, look, this sounds strange. I want winning football. It's not going to happen until Luke Shaw, Bruno, Maguire, those sorts of players have gone. For once, for this season, we're going to have to write the season off. I think Amorin needs to be, for me, it's Amorin. Look, can you survive until the very next season, and then get these players out. Then get these players out, and this is what I want to see. And I think you're right. I think we need to look, just get wins. Let's just get us. This sounds ridiculous. Survival football. Look, I mean, I think we'll finish about 10th or 12th. Let's do that. Let's keep the manager. Let's be brave. Keep the coach. As long as Amorin isn't doing this for his own self, I'm on board. But Amorin, for me, needs to start showing that this is about the club and not about himself. Chris O'Connor says, I'm trying. Liverpool lost. They did. Pretty games. Let's have a little look. Xerxes will be gone by the summer. Horning and Chesto will be our strikers for a while. Xerxes gone. I think you're right. And again, this is the consequence of having one game a week as well. Yep, on the slide big time. Time for Saka to shine. Golden boot. Look, Saka is a fantastic player. And again, this is the late show tonight. We can mix and match and talk about some stuff then, Joe. Yeah, look, Arsenal have got a fantastic team, right? Gyökeres. Look, Gyökeres for me. I know he had a couple. Look, Gyökeres for me at the moment. I'm glad we didn't buy him, but if he starts to fire, if you look at the way that Arsenal are playing now, without a striker, because Gyökeres, let's be fair, but the moment he starts to fire, and he will fire, like Haaland start to fire as well, then if I could pick anybody out of Liverpool and City and Arsenal to win the league, it's Arsenal all day long for me. Bamidele says, please, as it's now, I hope players are not playing against his instructions. I mean, Amorin, yeah, look, we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see. Sunderland, to me, is going to be its final nail in the coffin for many, many reasons. It won't be mine, as long as Amorin does something different, and I can see he's doing it for the club. I'll give him time. But we've got to see what these players are about. We have to. Great fellow content. Thank you so much, my friend. Absolutely, you're a legend. Thank you so much for being here. Champions League is just FPL injury watch for me. I love it. Arsenal rocks. Odegaard. Yep, he needs to go now. Letitia, look again. Tonight is more of an Amorin in show, right? So tonight is more of a, I want to talk about ways to keep Amorin in. And I'll give you my opinions as well. But Letitia Cole, absolutely, you were right as well. Look, there were two, has it gone too far? Right, I can't deny, I'm not an Amorin outer who's blind to it. Right? I'm an Amorin inner, to be clear, who is blind. I've said yesterday that I am Amorin out, or I would be Amorin out, the first glimpse that I see that he's not doing the best for the club and he's putting his own agenda before the club. I know we need to rebuild this squad, but I also respect those people who are Amorin out, because we cannot ignore this. And I think people who say I'm Amorin out and anybody else is wrong, I think that's probably the wrong way to be. But I get it. And those who are Amorin in, who are like, oh, these people who are who are out. The point here is that what ultimately has to be the goal here is what's best for the club. And if I think that Amorin out is best for the club, I will lean that way. But I am manager in. I'm not even Amorin in. I am the manager in. I think we need to do something different. And sacking a manager doesn't work. Bench, BDSM, Bruno, Delo, Shaw and Maguire. Ravi, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you completely. Nothing. Hello, mate. JB, who's our current leader in defence, would you say? Because we have one. All we need is leadership in the goalkeeper, CDM, striker, and then we have a spine. De Ligt is my leader. OB, agree. De Ligt, I've been so impressed with him. Even in the last game, De Ligt seemed to be the only one that gives a shit. I mean, De Ligt for me, look, Lemens looks like he could be. Lemens looks like he could be. I think he's a very, very confident guy. I think he could be, and if we can get that, that would be immense. And you're right, we need a spine, because most of our players don't have a spine, right? So I think you're right. I think we need a. The problem is in the system of that pivot is that Amorin doesn't necessarily like a CDM and a CM. He likes two CMs. Maybe you can have one more defensive than the other, but they both have to be up and down. What we basically need, OB, I think, is we need one of those to be a leader, but we need two. Look, as Amorin said, we need a pitch of leaders. We need a whole football pitch of leaders. But I think you're right. We need a striker who will demand the ball, and this is why Amorin wanted Osimhen. This is why he wanted this is why he wanted that sort of player to demand the ball. And Šeško will hopefully. Šeško needs to learn that fast. But you're right. He needs those players who will shout at players, but in the right way. Not like Fernandes, who throws young players under the bus. Not like Fernandes, who leads not by example. And the example that he sets is to moan and whinge and scream. I'm telling you now, once Fernandes leaves, or the captaincy has gone, and this team then has to stand on its own 2 feet, and somebody has to step up, you will see a completely different side. Bluey Game says, this rattles some Ultimate Team addicts, but career mode is way better. In career mode, you actually play football. In Ultimate Team, you gamble. I am finding that as well. I mean, Ultimate Team for me, I'm just like, I can't believe I dropped all that money on it. So I actually might do a career mode as well. I think that will probably work better. And then I will let you guys pick a team or players that I should sign. Rob Taff says Generation X 65 to 80, Millennials 81 to 96, Z 97 to 2012, and Alpha to 2013 to 2024. Yeah, I'm a millennial. Yeah, definitely born in 1983. Once we have that spine, we'll change things around. I agree. Grace says, instead of using the right wing back high and wide, why not just keep Burmo wide and invert Mazraoui into the midfield alongside the double pivot as a 3-4-3 diamond shape. Get three into the midfield, and you still have a front four. And again, Grace, love the comment. Love it, love it, love it. Again, I love it. I unless Amorin sees something, and this is what I love about this community, is that we get so many great opinions. And again, I think, again, you're right. But is Amorin, look, if we can think that, right, Amorin must be able to see that as well, right? I just can't put my finger, Grace, on why Amorin is not doing something that we all know that he should do. I just want to know what is the purpose? Is there a game? Is Amorin playing a game? If he is, then I'm Amorin out at that point, because managers should not be playing games. I wonder what it is, because there's definitely something. There has to be. There is no way Amorin, for all what we think about him or what people think about him, plays Maguire as that last man. It's absolutely no way he's done that planning. That is I don't know if that's a statement. I don't know if he's trying to prove something with that, but Grace, you're right. If you can see that, and that's not a disrespect to you. If I can see that, Amorin, who does this for a job, must be able to see it too. And I wonder why he doesn't do it. PSG 2, Barcelona 1. Yamal ghosted second half. Pedri didn't show up in the second half as well as Frankie. Rashford was good. Don't know why Hansi subbed him off. Who knows? That's a one for Hansi Flick. Korean mode. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Scott 92. Benja 1989, last baby of the 80s. Benja is an OAP. What's an OAP? Old as pharaohs. Scott means mate. I'm an OAP as well, mate. Old ass person. Scott, lately, mate, I feel like an old ass person. For me, the manager starting on Saturday needs to change it up. Get a must win, and it will take a run of games and that poor guy to take his hair to cut. I agree. FM is better than FIFA. I tell you, and you would disagree with me on this, Championship Manager on the Xbox, which one game I want to play on the channel is Championship Manager 2002 and 3. Absolutely amazing games with some of the old players on that. Absolutely amazing. Nothing Guy says, would Amorin thrive at United if he had Liverpool or City structure behind him, or was he not at that level? And the Nothing Guy, and again, amazing. And these are the questions that we need to be asking. But I love that question, because you're not only are you asking the question, you're not just saying Amorin isn't the guy. There's so many people just saying, oh, Amorin's crap. But again, I love these types of questions, because we're questioning, would he actually do it at Liverpool, or is he just not at that level? And again, we don't know. He's 40 years old. His replacement at Sporting last season won the cup and league, and he's 44 years old. Amorin is even younger than him as well. So is it the fact that Amorin is too young? It's so difficult, because these aren't his players and this isn't his team. It's so difficult to judge him. I find it so difficult to judge him on a set of players and the team that isn't his, and a structure that's so toxic behind him with the Glazers and Ineos, who have fucking no idea what they're doing. It's so difficult to judge him. And people who were saying that, it's his fault, I find it very, very difficult. I really do. Xerxes went on my transfer list. Flopperez on FC is decent. Gyökeres reminds me of Forlan. He has something about him, but not consistent enough. Obi, yeah, agree. Forlan, you could see when Forlan was here, and I remember when we signed him and the Liverpool game, right? I remember he couldn't score for ages, and then he went on a couple of games run and he scored, right? And there's a story about him whereby there was a game, it was raining down, pissing it down with rain, and Fergie told him to change his studs. Fergie said, look, change your studs, get the thick ones on, and you'll be fine. Forlan didn't. He was absolutely awful in that game, slid around like a lunatic, and he never played again. And Forlan went on to be probably at one point one of Europe's best strikers. You could probably argue at one of the World Cups, probably up there, not a world-class striker, but close to being a fantastic striker. And Gyökeres, I don't know, 27 years old. But Arsenal do have a history of buying flops as well. So I don't want him to be a flop. I do like him, but can he be consistent? I don't know. Letitia says the Glazers must leave our once thriving club. Letitia, I'm with you 100%. They have not put even a cent of their own pocket into the club, and they're only interested in taking money. Letitia, 100%, 100%, absolutely 100% on that. You are so right. It's unbelievable. Rager86 says, remember when Ferguson accidentally kicked the boot at Beckham's face? I remember it well. I remember it well because it destroyed me when Beckham left. I remember it like it was yesterday when Fergie booted, and it was an accident, but you know, again, I remember that was horrific. Give it to Giggsy till the end of the season. Are the Glazers American? Yes, they are. Jay Hughes says, I bet you're watching soaps on those European nights. Jay, I love it. Jay Hughes, love it. Love that comment. I'm not. I do tend to watch games. I'd love to do some more watch along stuff on here, but yeah, I bet you're watching soaps and those European nights. Jay, I love it, my friend. That's a cracking comment. Wait, I think our problem with strikers is the service more than themselves. I agree with you. Wait, what? I agree with you. I really do. I agree with you. It's the service. It's this double pivot. It's this double pivot that is killing us. Phil Walsh says, low Sunderland win, and then what? So Phil, this is where I'm at on it, and everybody else get into the comments and let me know. I don't care if we lose to Sunderland, right? What I want to see is a manager who's fighting his hardest and doing everything he can to win these games. He doesn't dictate what these players do on the pitch. If he sets these players out to do a job, and these fucking wasters, and I'm going to keep saying this about the players, not all of the players, but if these players don't do what he's told them to do, how is that on him? The attitudes of these players, the mentality of these players, how is that on him? I put that down to the club. The toxicity and what it leads to in these players, I blame that squarely on them, their mentality, but also the club. I do not afford that to the coach. Where I do afford it to the coach is if he consistently, look, this system is not conducive to him. His tactics, his formation are fine because we've shown that we can play it. These players are not consistent. These players need simple systems. These players need simple systems to play in because they're not good enough. Unless you play these players in a simple system, pat them on the head, give them a little tickle, tell them how amazing they are, they don't want to know. So Amorin has to do that until the end of the season and then fuck them all off. Tell them to absolutely go. And then if Ineos don't then want to back him with his players, walk, mate. You know, walk and tell your story. That is what I would love. What I want him to do is I want him to get to the end of the season. Amorin then doesn't get backed. Fucking walk out. Walk out and tell your story. That is what I want to see. Everyone wanting the manager out is missing the point, and the biggest problem we are facing, and the reason why we're in this situation. OB, mate, I love it. Grace Sheldon says, is it bad that I hate Arsenal more than Liverpool and City? I started supporting United in 2002 and 3. Also, I'm from southeast of England. Look, you can. I always think hate is a strong word. I'm not telling you how to feel. This is not an aspersion on you. I'm sure you're a wonderful person. I think I only choose to use the word hate in an extreme, right? I get it. Look, we can all dislike certain clubs for a reason. Back in the day, I would have said, Arsenal for me were a rival. Liverpool, I really didn't think too much of them because they weren't good. But for me, it was always Arsenal. It was always them because they they pushed us to be better, and we pushed them as well. So I get it, but I think it's really difficult right now for me to dislike clubs because I'm concentrating on trying to get our club better, and I know I can't have an impact on that, but I find it, what we've gone through in the last 13 years has probably made me more humble and appreciate where we were and appreciate the cycle of football and made me appreciate football more. And I think we are definitely a tale of a warning as to if you don't get the right owners and if you don't do the right things, things can end. The Glazers. Dino says we need to sort out the defence. My formation I would try 4-2-1-2-3 out position, and the pivot makes 5 at the back, make us harder to beat, and then in possession, overload the midfield and counter attack. I don't disagree at all. I really, really don't. I think I think you're right. And Dino, I think this goes to my point as well, is that we can see this. Like Dino, Grace, you guys have made these amazing points, right? I'm damn sure Amorin would know this as well. So I question, why is it he's not doing that? And that for me is the question. Is there something we don't know about? Is what Amorin is playing the system that he is. If it's because he's so stubborn and blinkered, he can't see anything else, then he has to go. Then he has to go, because if he's not doing the best, and if other people are right and they're saying he doesn't have another system and he can't change the way because he doesn't know, then he's got to go. So this is what I need to see now. I need to see. I don't need to see wins, which sounds crazy. We need wins, but I don't need to see him. I don't need to see wins as we're smashing teams. All I want to see is him doing something different and him adapting and responding to this league. And I will tell you my opinion as well as to, I think, how he can turn this around. Phil says, it's your fault, Grave. They won nothing since you started supporting them. Jay Hughes, Hoyland scored tonight. It's because he's not at United. Jay, you're right. So Rob says, JB, so if you was Amorin, how would you approach the Sunderland game? How would you set up and who would you start in a must-win game? So Rob, what do I do? He's got an option, hasn't he? So he's got options, right? Does he revert to that? Does he revert to a 4? He's probably not going to be that, right? So I agree with Dino. I think what I would do is, out of formation, I would try a 4-1-2-3 out of possession. I absolutely would, right? We need. I'd even say, look, what I would probably do is Luke Shaw is a waste of fucking time and space, right? I would take him out and put a CDM in there as that anchor. I'd have a proper anchor CDM in there. Have 2 CMs in there. Probably have an Ugarte and a Menu in there as well. And then left back, right back. I mean, you can decide that. I mean, it's very, very limited options. You could probably still play with wing backs. I'd probably still play with higher, not quite wing backs, but pretty much play sort of higher left back, right back. So I'd go Dorgu and Leon. Fuck him. I would just go and completely change equity. So I'd go Delict, Yoro, Lamens and go Dorgu on the left, Leon on the right. I'd have Casemiro just because we basically have to. I'd have Mainu and Ugarte as those 2 CMs. Bruno would get dropped. He'd be done, and then the front three would pick themselves. So, Mbeumo, Cunha, Shesko. I would look. I don't see, if we were going to lose, why not just do that? Why not just do something different? And that is what I would do. I would look. What I would try to get fans on side. I would show this team that Bruno Fernandes is not the answer. I would take him out of the team as a statement to say, look, this is how we're playing. I would appease the fans. I think many fans want to drop him. He can always come on as a 10 at some point, but I would make a statement and go, look, I've listened to you. I've listened to the fans. This is how you want me to play. This is what I will play. But be warned, as soon as I get my players, I will revert back. But adapt, just completely, just go bring in some young, exciting players and just play football. Don't worry about getting beat. If you play the right way, what Amorin has to do to survive is play players in a proper position, adapt to these players, and get fans on side. If you get us on side, if you get those Amorin hours on side, you can come back 100%. I heard Amorin did an internship under Jose. You're watching the soaps and his European nights. You won't want Amorin if Sunderland win. Look, Paul, to me, at the moment, it's inconsequential to me. I want to see Amorin adapt. I want to see him make this team not about himself, not about his system. Look, his system, and this is probably the first time that I'm going to admit this, his system and formation won't work in this team. Doesn't mean to say that there's anything wrong with it. We've shown that it can work, but he can't play it with his players. So I think he needs to admit defeat in the short term pain for long-term gain. And what I mean by that is his pain. Look, his pride needs to take a bit of a hit, right? He needs to be brave. He needs to make decisions for the club that includes dropping Fernandes, that includes dropping Luke Shaw, dropping Maguire, changing to a back four. But you can still play a back five. Just out of possession, you need to make sure there are three people in that centre position, because you're getting slammed. Either put Bruno as 10 or take him out. The Turkish goalkeeper is a useless guy. The Belgian keeper should be given the chance. Agree with you, Usman. Agree with you completely. Obi says all four positions need leaders. Keeper, CM. Agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. Bluey Games, do a play career in current. You're not going to be the play to bring them back to the glory days. Don't even tempt me. Tush push going crazy. Amorin does see it. He does, but I just need him to do something. I need him to respond. If we don't win on Saturday, could you imagine the pressure on Amorin? So give it, JB, until the end of the season. Look, if Amorin loses on Saturday, irrespective of what I see or what I think it's going to be too much. It's not too much for me. If I see Amorin change that team completely, do some brave things, and we still lose, I am with this guy. But if he loses, forget about it. This fan base and the media will make it so toxic that he'll walk. I even believe that he'll walk. I just think he seems like the sort of guy where money doesn't really matter. I think they'll pay him. They won't pay him the full whack, but they'll pay him something. They'll pay him. They'll basically pay him to keep his mouth shut. But I think Sunderland. Look, if he comes out and basically it's the same team again. Look, he's done. You know, he is done. Constancio says, you look like the tech guy from Jurassic World 3. I don't know who that is, mate. I have no idea who that is. But I'm sure he's really, really handsome. I'm joking, by the way. Adam Maidment says, I still wonder if the Bruno obsession from every manager is contractual and therefore out of the manager's hands. Adam, you know what? I've always thought this, mate. I think you've made a cracking point there. I think it could be. I well think it could be. You know, does he have a clause in the contract that says you've got to play? Do you know what? I would just say, look, I would rather take the hit of maybe if he doesn't play games, they have to pay him like 100k. But I could just pay him off. I refuse to believe it's the managers, 9 managers, and we are battling relegation. Why is that? It's board recruitment in the managers and players. They're not understanding the system and what's needed. I agree with you. You know, I'd be the biggest one, and the biggest flaw here is they hired Amorin in the first place, and that is probably one of my whole arguments of this. Is it shows you the little knowledge of the board and the little knowledge of Ineos to go and get a manager we've never played with a back three before, to go and get a manager who plays completely different football and have no acumen in buying him his players. I would have sacrificed paying £70 million for a player and gone and got him functional players. If he'd have got some cheaper functional players, even 1 or 2 on loan, and got rid of Fernandez, you'd see a completely different side. Completely different side. And this is about recruitment. Now, the recruitment always gets landed on his plate. Amorin didn't sign these players. These are not Amorin's players. Cunha was decided before him. Shesko he didn't want. You know, we're talking about players that were signed, and this is what people fail to realise, is there's a football structure in place. Amorin is a coach. He says, I want these players. If they don't get him players, they'll get him players that they think are right. And this is why, if Amorin goes, Omar has to go, Wilcox has to go, because they are the ones that ultimately signed off on these players. They are the ones that championed this coach. And the overarching question for me should be, why did Ineos hire this coach if they weren't prepared to back him fully? And what I mean is, he needed a brand new team. And if you don't have the money or the finances to do that, then don't bring him in. Hey people, what's wrong with Bruno? Look, Bruno's been here for too long. Bruno is arrogant, petulant, and I think people mistake that for Fernandez cares. That's clear. But I think people mistake that his stat padding, and they mistake that him chucking his arms in the air. He's disappeared many times, and I think because of the stat padding, I think people get confused. I think, you know, ultimately, I'm not going to put people's opinions down if they think that he's a good player. I have a different opinion. Many people do. Fernandez has been here for too long. And I never get people who are scared to get rid of a player. We got rid of so many players. There is no player bigger than this club. And this is what this club needs to learn fast, is there is nobody bigger than this. There is no coach bigger than this club. There is no player bigger than this club. These owners truly believe that they own this club. They are custodians of this club. They think they own it. They may own it in terms of money has changed hands, not their money, by the way. They are custodians of this club. They don't own it. They think they do, but they don't. There's no owner, manager, player bigger than this club. This club will endure, and it will endure again. And we will come back, whatever it is. And these players, we need an absolute gutting of this club. He has started Euro and then was dropped. I don't get it. We need, look, this has all come from Bruno Fernandes's outburst, and this is another reason why I want that. Look, I've got nothing good to say about him. So that's why I'm going to try and keep my opinions on him short right now, because for me, he is the biggest problem. In fact, I would now say that I am Fernandes out. Never mind Amorin. I am Fernandes out. I've got no time for him. So when people talk about Amorin, I am Fernandes out. LMA was fun, JB. OB, it was, I remember that game on PS1. I loved it. Can't see United in European competition. Look, Jay, we're not going to be in it, mate. Look, Jay, this season, forget about it. Forget about it. It is not going to happen this season. Richard says recruitment is bad, and as much as Amorin, Ineos have questions to answer. Look, I don't think Amorin, and again, respect the opinion completely. And if I respond to the opinion, or I sort of come back on the opinion, I'm not calling your opinions out. I'm just responding to them as I read them. I think Amorin has a small part to play, but I don't. The brilliant thing now about the structure that we have in place, accountability is with them. So Amorin wanted Quenda, Gyökeres. Amorin wanted a midfield player. Amorin didn't get anything that he wanted. He wanted a new striker, but he didn't get the striker that he was after. So, people can look. People want to lay everything at Amorin's door because he's the easy target, and there's always the manager that gets sacked. The recruitment, I think, as you've said there, is on Ineos. Ineos have look. It's just so obvious, right, to me. If you look at Nice, Ineos are doing the exact same thing as they did at Nice, and it is being replicated again, just on a grander, more visible scale. Nothing guys said. If United sack Amorin, who realistically comes in mid-season and does better, another caretaker, Mourinho 3.0, I think he'll be Carrick, Southgate, Xavi. I think Carrick would probably be I think Carrick would come in and do a job. But then my problem with that is that the players win again. The players win yet again. And then when Carrick goes and leaves or gets sacked, they've been through another manager. Now, imagine if Amorin leaves, right, before this month is up. These players have gone through two. So they've gone through Ten Hag, and then they go through Amorin as well. Just think about that. So they've gone through a manager that plays 4-3-3, and then who then pandered to them at the end, tried to play survival, right? And then they've gone through another coach who's then tried to do something different, tried to bring in a different philosophy, tried to do something different, and has failed as well. There is absolutely no way a manager comes in here long term with this structure of the owners and the players. United are going through what New York Yankees went through. The dynasty's done. Benja, the dynasty, my friend's been done for a long time. Wait, what? Inzaghi and JB, what's the difference between Sporting and us? What's the difference between Ten Hag's? What's the difference between Jose and us? The answer is that The answer is the answer to that is the difference. Oh, it is. Look, right? It's true. You know, if we'd have look, I think Obi, you're right. I think that what I'd want to see next, right, is I'd go, look, if Amorin gets sacked, and I'm pretty much sure that he will, I would go for Eddie Howe. I would go all out to get Howe. I would. That is who I would go all out and go and get Eddie Howe. I wouldn't mess around anymore, and I would go and get a manager who's not sporting. You know, Xavi doesn't know the league. Jose did or does, but he was towards the end. Ajax as well. I mean, you know, Ten Hag. You know, I would go and get Howe. I mean, to me, Paul Edwards is the man, United fan, who thinks he knows everything, and when you send him questions, he doesn't answer you like he likes the sound of his own voice. Disagree with that, mate, and I think probably the community would disagree with that. I don't think I know it all at all. A lot of what I say on here is my opinion, Paul, and if Paul, it clearly, Paul, you don't like people's opinions other than yours. And I don't know what question that you've sent me, because I don't read every single thing. So I apologise if I've not answered the question. But I do get a lot of questions, and I do answer a lot of things. So I apologise if you have answered, if you've asked a question and I've not answered your question. But I've clearly touched the nerve, because I clearly have. Like, again, if you'd sent me a quick look, mate, I get loads of questions, right? It literally is just me. I don't have a team around me. I don't have people. I work 5 days a week. I've got a family. So I do what I can as best I can. I read most of the chats out on here as well. Unlike other platforms where you have to pay pretty much to get, your question read, that's not something I do here. So I apologise if I've annoyed you in answering your question, but I'm doing my best, my friend. I really am. Amorin is just a sports teacher at a high school. Dean, welcome. Another question I want to ask you: would Ten Hag do better with his current squad? I do. Yeah, I do. The problem, the nothing guy, is the respect. I think that the system would do better, but they didn't like him. And the moment these players don't like a coach is where they down tools. So I agree in principle that I think the formation would work better. But do I think it'd work better? No, because I don't think they'd like the coach. So a lot of the time, these players, basically, if they don't fancy it, they won't play. And if they don't like the coach, then they don't play. So I think his tactics would probably get a better result. But again, I think it'd be very, very similar, because these players like to play for people that they like. Bailey says, Amorin is going to struggle. I hate the idea he sold a Garnacho, but I got to move on. But I just have a feeling he's going to tear shit up. Look, I get it. Players like players. I'm glad. Look, the thing is, right, what I said at the time, and what I said when I very first started the channel, is that I thought originally it was a red flag that he didn't start the final. Now, I'm glad that he's been exposed for what he is and he's gone to a different club. But I also appreciate that other people like the player. The way that he behaved, you can still want to go to a different club, but it's the way that he behaved that changed my opinion. Look, I've got no problem with players falling out with a manager or club. It's when they stick their fingers up to the fans and they disrespect the fans. That's when my opinion changes. So I get it. I really, really get it. But I'm glad he's gone to the Blues. I'm glad he's gone on the basis of the disrespect that he showed the fans. But I do appreciate that other people like players. Obi says the board, recruitment, club culture, leadership, mentality. Obi, completely agree. I think you've summed it up there in 5 points. Fergie should boot Luke Shaw after Carrington. I agree. Usman says Amorin has to change the system to 4-3-3. With Manu, Bruno, Mount, Nouri in the midfield, up front Kunyashevsko, in Boomer at the back, De Ligt, Maguire, Delo and Dorgu. I agree with some of that. I don't agree with it all. The only thing I would say, Mason Mount can't do it. I agree in principle with Mount, but I would have Mason Mount as a team player, not as a starter, because he can't do it every game. So you need somebody consistent in there. Obviously, Mason Mount. Maguire for me, no. Maguire for me, 100% no. Yoro for me, completely in there. So I would take a Delo out, I'd take a Maguire out, I'd take Fernandez. For me, Fernandez is done. I would take him out. But I get it. That 4-3-3 with those players in it, would they do better? Yes. But long-term wise, I don't know how much better it would do. Anyone play horror games? Yes, I do, Scott. If United moved to the Thai League, I believe they would not be able to become champions. Dean Mo, I love it. If United sack Amorin now, it's proof nothing has changed at the club. He should be given at least to the end of the season, unless results collapse so badly that top 6 is gone before Christmas. Nothing got. I think, my friend, that's a very, very logical opinion to have, and I agree with you on that one. Paul Edwards says no point in sending him and questions because he doesn't answer you. Paul says no point in sending him questions because he doesn't answer you. So do no point in getting a new manager because you could do the job. You know it. Paul, I don't know what I've done to upset you. I don't know what I've done. As I've explained to you, right? I think the community will agree. I'm fucking reading your questions live. Tell me another channel that will read your questions live and interact. I mean, mate, I do these shows and I read so many of your questions. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours to run a show because I'm giving you your opinions. I don't know, Paul, what else you want me to do. This channel's getting a reasonable size and it's only me. Go to another channel, send in a bog standard chat and no one's going to give a shit or read your, because that is not what they do. This is what we do on here. I talk about your comments because I respect them. It's really important to me. I value the comments. But I apologise if I miss your comment. But feel free to go to another channel who will not read your comments unless you pay them to do so. This is not what we are about on here. So again, I apologise. And if you can't take the apology, if I've missed you, then that's on you. That shows you the type of person that you are. I think other people would disagree with you. People keep saying, change the system. I agree to a degree, but Schmeichel, Rio, Stam, Vidic, Valencia, Irwin, Keane's goals wouldn't I agree with you, Obi. Mate, it is not the system, Obi, and I think we are singing from the same hymn sheets. It is not the fucking formation. It is not the tactics. It is these players. However, Amorin has to change the system to suit these fucking waste of time players. That is what it is. And I agree with you. If you put Irwin, Keane, Scholes, Rooney, Giggs in any of those systems, they would adapt themselves. Agreed. Dying Like the Beast is a good game. Liverpool's Champions League hasn't started well. Wayne, big up. Wayne is a legend of the chat, a Liverpool fan. Lots and lots of time for Wayne. Wayne is a legend. It's not, mate, is it? I have to apologise to the fans that we had on here, because I said that, and I can't remember if it was just after that we lost, and I probably wasn't in the mood. I kind of disrespected that person a bit and said that Liverpool would win, so I apologise to that person. I will caveat, and I did say that anything's possible. It's a very, very difficult place to go. Liverpool found that out. Look, this season so far reminds me of the season where Leicester won the league. Everybody can beat everybody in this league other than Man United. But it really feels like someone else could win the league this year. So when I look, Liverpool have still got probably the best squad. Look, mate, you can't buy all those players, right, and suddenly become, this unstoppable team. Look, Slot, the questions will be asked about Slot, but look, Liverpool, we all know that they will come good, and even if you don't win the league this season, it's not the end of the world, because you've got a team for the next 4 years. So look, teams have an off season, right? We've just started. I have no doubt that your Champions League will explode, and you're already top of the league. So I wouldn't be too concerned just yet. Richard Hawkins says there are a lot of good players. There are, but not footballers with footballing instinct. True. Arsenal fans are the most annoying. I saw Arsenal fans say Saka was way better than all the top 5 Ballon d'Or rankers. Yeah, that would be a little bit weird. Kill zombies and shoot stuff. You need to play 1 and 2. Then the beast. I will. Again, Rob saying on TalkSport, they said last game Bruno didn't even pass the ball through to Šeško. How can Šeško start to fire? Bruno, for me, needs to be dropped. He gives the ball away too many times and not an 8. I would drop Bruno. Look, I'm biased, so I'm even going to admit it, and I'll say, look, right, I'm a very logical, even-handed person, and right now, Bruno, I'm to the point with him. I'm done with him. I am Fernandes out before anybody else. I would take him out. I would. I mean, I would just take him out. I think he needs a slap around the face, and I think he needs to be taken out and shown this club needs to move forward without him. Who's talking smack about Saka? Dying Light is one of the best zombie shooting games. I would only put Resi 4 or Resi 2 above it. I'm going to have to give that a go. Say we play 4-3-3. Tell me who the leaders are in that formation. Cunha, for me, I think Cunha would be a massive leader. De Ligt, for me, would be a leader. Look, I'd even argue Casemiro would be a leader in that team. Maybe not a leader, but experience. And outside of that, I struggle. I really, really struggle. And I think you're, and I think you're right. OB, you're right. In a 4-3-3, what's that going to change? From a back 3, right? How does that change? Or do we suddenly get leaders if we change from a back 3 to a back 4? OB, you're right. We don't. 100%. John Terry said he doesn't watch football that much because it's not so exciting when it was like in the 80s and the 90s. And the thing is, I semi-agree with that statement, but then these players then go and have their opinions and are able to, at will, go and, talk about games, and they don't even watch games. It makes me laugh. If Amorin is sacked, I'll settle for an AI manager, aka that's hilarious. but at least you didn't have to endure Wilf McGuinness or Franco Farrell. That's true, Richard. That's true. Dino Hughes, I agree with you. I've only got an FA level 1 badge and can see it, so I don't understand why he either isn't seeing it or he's ignoring it. It baffles me why he's so stubborn. And Dino, and again, mate, you're more qualified than me to talk about this. And it's not a disrespect on you, but if Amorin has all these years of experience, and as you just said there, if he can see it, if he can't see it, and we can see it, what is it that stops him from doing the things that he should be doing? Amorin is right in what he's saying. It's not the formation. I prefer a 4-3-3 style, but that won't fix the problem because we don't have a spine to rely on only one leader. Agreed, OB. Matthew B, you don't have 5 defenders against most of the league. Agreed. Players aren't good enough to win any trophies. Matthew B says the back 5 didn't work with Van Gaal. Why should it work now? And Matthew, that's a good point. I'd argue we didn't have the players then. Didn't have the players then, and we don't have the players now. So I think you're right. I really, really do. What an accent. I don't know what that means. Don't know if you mean that. And I do have a little bit of a cold as well still, so so I don't know if you mean what the hell is that, or if you mean that's a great one. If the formation was a problem, then Jose, Oli, and Ten Hag would have succeeded because they play similar systems to a sense, but it didn't work because we lack leadership. Agreed. Agreed. It is. Look, I agree with you completely. People are clamouring for 4-3-3. I get it. But even that system, even those didn't work because we don't have the players. And I think you're absolutely right. Rob Taff, Hoyland scored twice tonight against Sporting. Rob Taff, that is ironic, isn't it? If he has lost the dressing room, then he has to go. Wayne, to a degree, I agree with that statement, but I also will say, well, then, how many coaches have these players sacked? Okay, bye, JB. See you later. See you later, my friend. We struggle against Grimsby. A formation is irrelevant when you're facing a team like us. The quality we should have, but the players look lost. Exactly, OB. I would always argue, Grimsby, you shouldn't need a coach. The coach, in my opinion, and this is not an arrogant opinion, and this is not a disrespectful opinion, this is actually praise to a League 2 team, is that professional players who are apparently elite, who are the best of the best, that play for the biggest club in England, you could argue the world, have so much information and so much experience, so much access to the best coaches, the best whatever. They shouldn't need a manager. Amorin should be able to basically go to bed and sleep and expect the team to wake up the next morning and have won. You don't need formation. But the fact that Grimsby taught them a lesson just actually shows, for me, what these players are. Sunderland is on form. We just struggled against. Exactly, I agree with you. I'd settle for a point, so would I. How did yours get on this week in the Champions League, Jimmy? Well, you know that, mate, don't you? Question for you. Would you be in a different situation if we'd have kept De Gea and McTominay? Do I think that we would have been better with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka and McTominay? Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah, I do. Do you know what? I actually do. I actually do. I think we'd be in a much better position because we wouldn't have wasted 50 million on Onana. We would have had more selection for a right wing back, Bissaka. Whilst I don't think Wan-Bissaka is amazing, I think he would do a better job. And McTominay, I think this would have been the perfect coach for him. So I agree. JB, feed your slaves. Feed your slaves. They need some protein. De Gea is a leader. De Ligt is a leader. McTominay was a leader. They almost have others. But OB, look, mate, you are smashing it out of the park tonight, my friend. Dino, who's due, feel sorry for him though. He is dealing with a set of players from 3 or 4 different coaches. Yeah, Dino, I do, mate. I do as well. I do. It to me, it is ridiculous that he's getting judged on this set of players. As soon as United change the manager, they'll climb the table. I'll definitely settle for a point away. Bruno is in Amorin's ear. That's where Yoro is out of the team. I agree with you. Jesse Lee says, where are you from? I'm from the UK in Essex. We got Shesko, yes, but we let Haaland go now. We have one striker for a full season. Who made that decision? It's ludicrous. It's like it's like Fergie buying York and loaning that car. I've been saying that, mate. I think I said it yesterday as well, or the day before that. One of my rants was, how can we have one striker? It is fucking ludicrous that we have one striker. It is incredulous. It is poor management from the management team. It is absolutely, I'm baffled. I'm baffled why you wouldn't get a free striker as well, just as a backup player, even to train OB. Get an experienced guy in to train OB. It baffles me, mate. Liam Mills, hello, my friend. Are bored and incompetent? I agree so much with you. Rob says, I think if it continues to go bad, when Amorin's compensation comes down, then he'll probably just walk. At the moment, he's probably holding out for the 12 million. I would, to be fair, so would I. Good evening, my little polar bear. Beat you up. I hope you're well. Jack, I am extremely well, my friend. Amazing comment. I love it, Jack. I love it, my friend. This is just our opinions. Doesn't mean that we are right, but we all have enough knowledge and football education to understand the difference between United and Crystal Palace, Brighton and Liverpool. Agreed, OB. Look, agreed. Unite the kingdom. Whose nerve you touched? Did you hurt his feelings with it? Jack? I think I did. I think I hurt some. I think I did, mate. I think I did. Selwyn, hi brother, greetings from Cape Town. Selwyn, legend. It's me. I watched a documentary. I kind of wind people up with his name. If Amorin was a tree, he would not. If Amorin was a tree, he would not have leaves ever. I love it, Jack. JB, me and my mates started pro league clubs and we gave ourselves offensive names. Would you let me have? So I called myself up. I'm not reading it out, but that's funny. Selwyn, what do you think of United's links to Glasner? Would you think of the rumours of us going for Kane? Would be a brilliant teacher to Shesko, would be a great succession plan. Look, I don't want to sack the coach. I think if we're talking about managers, and we sort of have to do this, right? I want a Premier League manager now, right? Simple as that. I don't think going outside of a league works unless you've got the players to do it. So Glasner, look, until we change this team, it doesn't matter. But I look, Glasner is definitely on the list. Southgate is on the list. Xavi is on the list. Carrick is on the list. So take a pick. Harry Kane, look, if we were in a position, look, Harry Kane's going to come back and Harry Kane wants to win a league, Champions League. Would I bring him for 50 million? I don't know. We need to look. If it was a case of we're going to buy 2 midfield players, we're going to buy a goalkeeper, maybe a keeper, maybe a right back. fill those positions that Amorin needs and get Kane, yes. But that 50 million is going to cost. We need to spend that where it needs to be spent. So, I don't know. Amorin needs to change his house keys. Don't think the Cheshire keys will fit the locks in Portugal. Does that 64 in the background still work? Yes, it does still work. It's not perfect, but it does work. Yes, his Jack, you're cracking me up. I love it. Mount, Shaw, Bruno, Maguire, and Delo all have to go. Raymond, yes, I agree with you. You know why he's training on the shelf. It's a reminder to us. It's true. It is true, Jack. It is true. It is true. Jack, because JB is behind on his chat. I am, mate. I am trying my best, mate. Try my best. Exactly. At the end of the day, Champers. At the end of the day, Ruben. You need to win, Ruben. Champers, Ruben. Champers. JB reads all the questions. He respects everyone's opinions. We just have to be respectful in here. That's all we ask. So I'm totally with JB on what he said. Back me. Good evening, a Liverpool fan here. No hate, good vibes. I enjoy your considered takes on your team. Thank you very much, Dork Knight. Interesting name. JB for PM. I hope so, my friend. JB, cracking me up, mate. Yeah, his own slips. I think he's hated. It's true. I am hated by them. Slot, Pep, Klopp, Alonso, Glasner, Howe, Woodall fell because we don't have the base. OB, facts, my friend. Facts. How's your day been, bro? Unlucky last night. OB, we all know it's all about the base. It's all about the base. No treble. Jack, you are cracking me up, mate. Absolute hilarious. Apparently there was a manager worse than Amorin in the Prem. Andre Villas-Boas, I think it's spelled. Jack, this tonight is the Jack show, mate. I love it. To fix this, with whoever is the manager is for the board to sign leaders, mate. I really hope we do. He did, Jack. He did, and he went on to manage Spurs as well. It's very clear though that the players aren't playing for him. They've said that. Yes, they did. Kashmir says Fergie ran as soon as his supposed Neville will broken cracks found. Fergie ran as soon as his supposed Neville will be broken found cracks. He ran. Fergie went because he's fucking 70 years old, mate. Fergie went because he's old. That's why he went. It was nothing to do with cracks. I mean, did you see how he won the Premier League and who he won the Premier League with? Mate, Fergie ran because he was 74 years old or wherever he was. He was old, mate. Absolutely old. Yoro, Dorgu, Manu, Cunha, Delit, Imbermo, Shesko and Lamens because he hasn't played. Kenny for free, I agree with you. Forgot about Ahmad. I like him. Not his fault he's been made to play as a wing back. I agree. KK, what have I missed? Mate, you've missed loads. Line up against Sunderland is going to be fascinating. I really hope. So Rob Taff, I hope the men starts. I really do. Our fan base would ruin OB. They would. Imagine if Ruben comes out against Sunderland in a 4-3-3. Imagine that. Also, our youth teams play different formation. That's why they struggle in Amorin systems. I agree. Jack says, did anyone else notice against Brentford after Xerxes came in? Imbermo was right wing back and so was Mount. Seriously, just changed the formation at that point. Southgate said no. I fucking hope so. Knowing the board, they'll probably go with Neil Warnock. I love this show tonight. The players normally respond to change, but it doesn't last long. Rob says, you know what gets me? Since Ferguson and all the managers we have had, we are still nowhere near where we have to be. We have gone backwards. We are United. We should be winning trophies. Look, Rob, I agree with you. I will always say this. I demand us to win the league every season to be in the Champions League, not because I'm stupid or an arrogant person. It's because we need to keep the standards high. What have I missed when Ruben is gone? What have I missed when Ruben's gone? He's not gone yet, mate. 7, keep well, brother. It's almost 1 a.m. for me. Enjoy your streams. Thank you. I agree. If Amorin was a contraceptive, we'd all be pregnant. Jack, you're cracking me up, mate. Amorin has more holes in his system. That's a serious question, though. Do you have holes in your socks? I don't, mate. I really, really don't. Can you give me a brief one? What have I missed? It's been like 5 minutes. Is Ruben got sacked? No. The question is, the theme of tonight. It's a late show, and pretty much anything goes tonight. I'm asking the question. So this show is more of an Amorin in show. My question is this, right? Can Amorin do anything to come back and not be sacked? How then do you put your feet in? Jack? Jack, you are cracking me up, my friend. Question: what would you prefer? One Premier League playing how we are set up, or one Champions League with new title intact? I'd rather that's a good question. I think I'd probably want to win the Champions League because it means that we're in the top 4. Then look, if what you were saying is, I guess the question here is, right, if it's just for one season. So if we could win the Premier League playing crap, but then we go on to play good, or is it a case of then we go on to win the Champions League and then we continue to play well? I want to take the route where we play well, really. Dino, just to shut up Liverpool about top 6. AI be greedy and take. Yeah, Scott, I agree. So guys, I'm going to go an hour and 42 minutes. That's not bad. I love doing these shows. You guys are immense. Jack has come in there and stolen the show. Legend, guys. But to everybody, I used to be able to read out everybody's names in the chat. It's something that I can't do now, but you all know you are amazing. And again, I obviously pissed on somebody tonight because I wasn't quick enough in answering their questions. But you know me, guys. I do try to read as many of your questions as I possibly can. Question: would you prefer to see your sister or see? I can't. I just even the thought of that. And Rob, you are absolutely right. As I always say, because it's so important, is in life you can buy many things, but you can't buy time, and you can't buy health. And the reason why that is important on here is because we have had conversations in the past where we've shared stuff, some pretty heavy stuff. And Jack, we can't buy 2 wins in a row either. 100% right. But why it's important to me is because you guys don't have to be here. You guys don't have to interact with each other. You could be elsewhere, and the fact you share time with me, even if it's a minute, a second, an hour, Jack, you can buy me. Jack, how much for Jack? Legend, absolutely fantastic. No, guys, the fact that you spend time with the channel, you guys make this channel what it is, and that is a fact. Without people like Scott, Dino, Jack, Rob, OB, I mean, I can't go through you all, but you are all absolutely fantastic. Without you guys, it doesn't work, right? Rob as well, legend. Without you guys, Rob Taff as well, legend. It just doesn't work. So guys, only thank you. We get bigger. We go again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I'll be back tomorrow. Jack says half-eaten bag of What's-Its would be suffice. You know I'm right. Jack, JB will get you working. Exactly that. The pay is bad, and I'm awful, I will try to touch you. Yeah, that's a fact. So just don't tell anybody. Do not tell the HMRC. But I get to smell JB. Exactly. You will get to smell me, and I do smell pretty good. Mostly of shame. I do smell mostly of sweat and shame, but it's worth the smell. It really is. So guys, have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you again so much. I will be back tomorrow at some point. Stay safe, and I will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much. I am going to sell it. It's going to be older slave, and it's going to smell amazing. So thank you guys. Okay, you asked me a good question a few days ago. Cool. Right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your evening, etc. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care and good night.